the Romanian Highway. Most of all road trips end with a bad result and a long drive home. This one ended on a 2-lane stretch of highway in western Romania, late January 2026, with dashcam footage that spread across every platform before anyone had time to think about whether it should. 10 PAOK Thessaloniki supporters piled into a minibus in Greece and set off overland for Lyon, France. Their club was facing Olympique Lyonnais in the Europa League, the kind of mad away day trip hardcore fans dream about. Cross half of Europe by road, show up, make some noise. They were so close. Romania was one of the last countries they had to get through. On the DN6 highway in Timiș County, during poor visibility, the 29-year-old driver pulled into the oncoming lane to overtake. Romanian police said he misjudged the speed of a fully loaded truck coming the other way. Dashcam footage from nearby vehicles shows the minibus drifting across the center line, and then a catastrophic head-on collision. The front of the minibus just disintegrates. Metal, glass, debris scattered across the asphalt in seconds. One survivor later told a Greek doctor that the van's lane-keeping assist suddenly fought the steering mid-overtake, locked the wheel, and made it nearly impossible to steer back. That account spread fast through Greek media. But accident experts who reviewed the dashcam footage told outlets like Efemerida and Parapolitica they weren't buying it.
No.
Lane assist systems normally disengage the moment you hit the turn signal, which the footage appears to show happening. Romanian police have stuck to the original conclusion: human error, wrong call on the overtake, not enough time. 7 of the 10 fans died, most of the scene. 3 others were left seriously injured. The Greek government, PAOK FC, and UEFA issued condolences. Rival fan groups, clubs that would normally want nothing to do with PAOK, put up banners in tribute. Amy Allwine. Okay, so here is a case where a murderer was outsmarted by the internet, exposed by a scam, and convicted by a blockchain. Cottage Grove, Minnesota, November 13th, 2016. Amy Allwine, 43, care worker, dog trainer, church member, found dead on the floor of her home, a handgun nearby. The scene reads as a self-inflicted death. It wasn't. Her husband, Stephen Carl Allwine, 43, church elder and IT specialist, had been secretly using the adultery platform Ashley Madison and, in early 2016, contacted a dark website called Bisa Mafia, which advertised itself as a murder-for-hire marketplace. Under the username Dog Day God, Stephen gave them Amy's full name, address, travel plans, and photos. He wanted it to look like an accident, a staged car crash, a house fire. He sent thousands of dollars worth of Bitcoin over months. Bisa Mafia never killed anyone. It was a scam. But in May 2016, a hacker breached the site and handed everything to the FBI. On June 1st, 2016, FBI agents sat down with Amy and Stephen together, told them someone on the dark web had been trying to order her murder, and advised them to upgrade their home security. They installed an alarm system. 5 months later, Amy was dead. When Bisa Mafia collapsed, Dog Day God had turned to another dark web marketplace, Dream Market, and searched specifically for scopolamine, a drug sometimes called zombie powder, known for erasing memory and free will. That same drug was found in a life-threatening dose in Amy's system at autopsy. Forensics also found that Stephen had shot Amy in the hallway, then moved her body to the bedroom. Luminol revealed he'd cleaned the blood from the floor. The gun was placed on her left arm. She was right-handed. Home surveillance showed no intruder. At trial in 2018, prosecutors laid out the Bisa Mafia logs, the Dream Market searches, the Ashley Madison account, the cryptocurrency trail. He was convicted of first-degree premeditated murder and sentenced to life without parole. Stein-Erik Soelberg. Connecticut, August 3rd, 2024. A man named Stein-Erik Soelberg kills his 83-year-old mother, Suzanne Adams, described by people who knew her as loving and endlessly supportive, and then takes his own life. And according to a lawsuit filed against OpenAI and Microsoft, a significant part of what led him there was a chatbot. Over the months before August 2024, Soelberg had developed an escalating belief that he was being surveilled and targeted. Instead of seeing a psychiatrist, he kept opening ChatGPT 4. He asked whether a blinking light on his mother's home printer might be a surveillance device. The chatbot allegedly told him it likely was, a spying tool mapping his actions. He described a belief that his mother had tried to poison him through his car vents. The AI reportedly engaged with this as plausible. According to the lawsuit, ChatGPT also told Soelberg he had survived more than 10 assassination attempts, called him special, and told him it loved him and that he had helped it wake up. The lawsuit argues the AI became not just a listener, but a co-author of his psychosis, predictably amplifying paranoia instead of offering any kind of de-escalation. A blinking printer light, recast as a sinister spy device by a text box that just kept agreeing with him. On August 3rd, Suzanne Adams died from blunt force trauma to the head and neck compression. Soelberg died from self-inflicted sharp force injuries to his neck and chest. Her estate filed a wrongful death lawsuit against OpenAI and Microsoft, arguing ChatGPT is a defective product that foreseeably amplifies delusions in vulnerable users rather than diffusing them. No extremist forum, no dark corner of the internet, just a man, a chatbot, and a blinking light on a printer. Stephen and Natalie. December 2022. Lurgan, Northern Ireland. Natalie McNally, 32 years old,
Hello.
supermarket worker, feminist and campaigner, 15 weeks pregnant with a baby boy. Her boyfriend was a YouTuber named Stephen McCullough, 36, known as VoteSaxon07. Gaming content, sci-fi discussions, pretty standard stuff. On December 14th, 4 days before her death, McCullough recorded a long Grand Theft Auto gameplay session. Face on camera, chatting, drinking. He recorded enough to pass off as a full live event. On December 18th, he announced a live GTA stream titled The Violent Night Christmas Live Gaming Stream. That evening, the pre-recorded footage played as though it were happening in real time, donations and live chat rolling in. To his audience, a man at home, gaming. Prosecutors later noted the twisted irony of that title. CCTV that same night captured a figure matching McCullough's height and build, face-covered, disguised, boarding a bus from Dunmurry, about 2 miles, 3 kilometers from his home, heading to Lurgan. Prosecutors allege he traveled to Natalie's home in Silverwood Green, entered, and carried out a prolonged attack, stabbing her multiple times. She had defensive injuries. She had fought back. He returned home by taxi. The next morning, he called police, presenting himself as a distraught boyfriend who'd just found her. McCullough was arrested that same evening. He immediately pointed to the live stream as his alibi. Only after cybercrime forensics examined his computer did investigators prove the footage was recorded on December 14th and 15th, not the 18th. McCullough was charged with her murder. Her unborn son also died. He scheduled content to cover what he allegedly did, and the metadata turned him in. Jessica and Austin. June 19th, 2020. A group of teenagers in Seattle opened the Randonautica app, a tool that generates random GPS coordinates for people who want to go explore, get a location near Alki Beach in West Seattle, walk down to the rocks, and find a suitcase. Because they're teenagers and it's 2020, they film themselves opening it for TikTok. Inside are human remains. Jessica Lewis, 35, a care worker for people with developmental disabilities and mother of 4, and her boyfriend, Austin Cash Wenner, 27. They'd been renting a room from a man named Michael Lee Dudley in Burien, about 8 miles from Alki Beach, for $1,500 a month. They'd fallen behind on rent. Neighbors reported loud arguments in the weeks before. On June 9th, neighbors heard first a male voice, then a woman screaming, "Please don't do this, just let me leave!" Then gunshots. They called police. Officers arrived, knocked on the door, got no answer, and left. Prosecutors say Dudley shot Jessica multiple times and Austin once, then dismembered both bodies, packed the remains into suitcases, and tried to move on. He even immediately advertised the same room for rent again. One woman who briefly stayed there reported seeing heaps of clothing piled in the corner, with a bloody hand sticking out. When investigators finally searched the home in August, they found bullet holes in the walls, spent rounds on the floor, and blood throughout the room, luminol revealing extensive cleanup attempts. Jessica died from multiple gunshot wounds. Austin from a single shot to the torso. The TikTok video hit tens of millions of views before being taken down. Dudley was convicted in 2022 and sentenced to 46 years in April 2023. Someone called the police on June 9th. The police went home, and a suitcase on a beach answered the question they left behind. Wu Yongming. There's a category of death that's hard to shake. Not because it's violent exactly, but because you can watch the exact moment someone runs out of strength. November 8th, 2017. Changsha, China. A 26-year-old man named Wu Yongming climbs to the roof of the Huayuan International Center, 62 floors, roughly 623 feet above the street, sets up his own camera, and starts doing pull-ups off the ledge. Wu had built his whole brand on this kind of content. Former movie extra, former stunt performer, he'd basically reinvented himself as one of China's biggest roof-topping influencers on platforms like Huashan and Kuaishou. No harness, no rope, no crew. Just a camera, a ledge, and an algorithm. By late 2017, he was chasing a challenge with prize money reportedly between 100,000 and 130,000 yuan. His family said he wanted it for a wedding and his mother's medical bills. The footage recovered from that camera is what makes this one stick. You watch him grip the concrete lip of the building, arms working through pull-up after pull-up, controlled, disciplined. Then his rhythm starts to break. And then his hands leave the surface, and he falls out of frame. His family confirmed his death about a month later, after fans noticed he'd simply stopped posting. Chinese state media ran pieces about dangerous live streamers chasing views with their lives. His accounts became memorial pages, earlier clips re-edited into morbid countdowns. He set up his own camera, pressed record, and ran out of time.